Lewis Hamilton sends message to Billy Monger after BBC Sports Personality of the Year. Monger won the Helen Rollason Award after bouncing back from a devastating injury, where he had both legs amputated, to return to the sport he loves. Hamilton provides inspiration for all young British drivers, and he has become close to Monger following his horrific crash. The 19-year-old returned to racing in the British Formula 3 Championship earlier this year after less than 12 months out. And Hamilton, who lost out to Tour de France winner Geraint Thomas in the main prize of the night, took to social media to hail his young compatriot. "So proud of what you have achieved, Billy," Hamilton wrote on Twitter. "True fighting spirit and inspiration. It was an honor to be there with you tonight." Billy was at Billy Monger. Monger had previously spoken about how he idolized Hamilton ever since first breaking though in the motorsport world. "He is a hero for me," he said. "When I was 8 years old and I first started go-karting, which is where everyone who wants to make it into F1 starts, he was winning world titles. For me he was like my British superhero. He was always up the front and winning championships. I always looked up to him, and to see what he has gone on to achieve and to be able to meet him and spend some time with him is what you want to look up to." Hamilton was in Birmingham at the awards night with his family as he was hoping to claim his second Spody award, but he fell just short. "I have been racing since I was 8 and I am very proud to be here tonight," he said. "I have got my family with me, my mum, my dad, my brother and his girlfriend, my Uncle Terry. It has been a really long journey and it was a dream as us all as a family to get out of the slums. We all set our goals very high and we did it as a team. I think the 8-year-old me would be telling me today he is proud." Next news: Formula 1 gossip. Ocon backs Leclerc for 19 title bid. Ocon backs Leclerc for 2019 title bid. Alonso receives high praise from his 2019 teammate. Hamilton gracious in Spody defeat. X-Force India Formula 1 driver Esteban Ocon believes long-running rival Charles Leclerc will be able to contend for the championship in 2019 during his first year with Ferrari. Racefans.net. Fernando Alonso's 2019 Rolex 24 at Daytona teammate, Jordan Taylor, says the Spaniard is the highest-rated driver in the world and is confident he can bring plenty of experience to the lineup despite having never raced in a car before. Sportscar 365. Lewis Hamilton was quick to congratulate cyclist and Tour de France winner Geraint Thomas on his BBC Sports Personality of the Year award win on Sunday night. Hamilton finished as runner-up in the voting for the third time. Twitter, after being cut off midway through his acceptance speech for the BBC Spoty's Helen Rollason Award on Sunday night, Billy Monger was given the chance to complete it and thank his parents for their support. BBC 5 Live, Red Bull has announced a new partnership with leading Asian online gaming provider W66.com, having signed a multi-year agreement. The W66.com logo will appear on the Red Bull RB15 car, as well as across its wider assets. Red Bull. Former Ferrari and McLaren Formula 1 driver Gerard Berger was honored last week in Italy at Autosprint's Casco d'Oro Awards, where he said Italy would be a crucial market for DTM, the series he runs. Moving forward, Brendan Hartley is eager to keep a foot in the door in Formula 1 in the future as he continues to formulate his racing plans for 2019. Stuff. Next news: Does Mercedes still believe in Bottas? By his own admission, The 2018 season was the worst of Valtteri Bottas' career. Driving an identical car to the one that secured the Drivers' Championship and 11 race wins with Lewis Hamilton at the wheel, he failed to score a single victory. But, for next year at least, Mercedes is standing by him. Bottas' arrival at Mercedes at the start of 2017 came under unusual circumstances. He replaced the outgoing world champion Nico Rosberg, who made a shock decision to retire at the end of 2016, giving the Finn limited time to acclimatize to life at a top-level team. In many ways that took the pressure off Bottas in his first year, allowing him to point to his hasty arrival if results failed to go his way. But in 2018 there was no such excuse and, on paper at least, his performance declined. In 2017 Bottas finished third in the championship, having scored 305 points, 3 wins and 13 podiums. In 2018 he finished fifth in the championship on 247 points with just 8 podiums. He was deprived of near certain victories in Baku, due to debris on the track, and Sochi, thanks to team orders, but those footnotes won't be marked in the history books. To make things worse, Bottas is facing increasing pressure from within the team. Mercedes-backed driver Esteban Ocon is without a drive in 2019 after attempts to maneuver him into seats at Renault and McLaren fell through. As a result, the young and talented Frenchman will spend the year looking over Bottas' shoulder as the team's official reserve driver. Yes, of course, Esteban is a factor for us in the future, Mercedes boss Toto Wolff told ESPN when asked if Ocon was being considered for a 2020 race drive. We have options for Esteban for 2020, but of course he might also be an option for Mercedes. It depends how the season pans out in Mercedes and how Valtteri goes. Still, we haven't lost any of our trust in Valtteri. We are 100% behind him, Bottas, because there is the trust within our drivers, because if we wouldn't be behind him we might as well make the change now. We think that he's our man, and then obviously Esteban is in the starting blocks because he's keen to drive that car. It may be sugar-coated, but the warning to Bottas is clear: fail to deliver in 2019 and Ocon will be ready to replace you in 2020. So what happened to Bottas in 2018? A closer examination of his results shows he dipped in the second half of the year. He rallied in Russia and Japan with 2 second-place finishes, but those were both at circuits where Mercedes had a pace advantage overall. At the final 4 races he finished 5th each time, unable, it seemed, to extract the same performance from his tires as teammate Hamilton. Wolff takes some of the responsibility for Bottas' slump in the second half of the season. With Hamilton facing the title challenge from Ferrari's Sebastian Vettel midway through the year, Bottas was told to play a supporting role until the Drivers' Championship was won. In Wolff's eyes that excuses Bottas' lack of a victory, and the Mercedes boss is convinced his driver will return to the top of his game in 2019. I think that for any driver it's very difficult to overcome a situation where you need to back your teammate for a Drivers' Championship, Wolff said. I think that is normal when you are taking away the single most important motivation for a racing driver, which is to be able to compete for a world championship. And I think we have seen that effect in Valtteri last year after Spa and this year after Monza. And he knows that. I think as long as he's in the hunt for the championship he's going to drive at a very high level, that is the most important. I don't think it makes a difference whether he wins the races or not. This is because he knows that after the summer he was basically only second in line to win the race. He would have won in Sochi maybe. So on paper he should have had at least 2 or 3 wins this season. But does Mercedes really see Bottas as championship material? On his day he is able to outperform Hamilton. But those days were very much in the minority over the course of the 2018 season. However, Wolff goes back to Bottas' retirement in Baku, when the Finn retired from the lead of the race with a puncture 3 laps from the checkered flag. Without that misfortune he would have been leading the championship by a single point from Sebastian Vettel after the first 4 races, and Wolff believes that could have changed the trajectory of his season. If he wouldn't have DNF'd in Baku in the lead, he would have been in the lead of the championship at that point. So things could have taken a very different turn at that stage of the season, but luck wasn't on his side. And I believe truly that it's going to swing towards him at one stage, and therefore I'm really looking forward to Valtteri's performance in 2019. And I'd like to hope that Valtteri can add weekend onto weekend at a top level so he becomes a real challenger for the World Championship. I think he could be in the hunt for the championship in 2019. We could come back from the shutdown and have a Valtteri that is very much there driving for his own Drivers' Championship. Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to share and subscribe to your channel to get the latest sports news around the world. Wished health and success. Goodbye.